What is going on? Let's get this show on the road. Make sure that my ring light doesn't fall over as these things tend to do. But we got episode 16. I think it's episode 16. My word. We need to do something special for like 20. I don't know what would be special other than, keep doing this. But I feel like something has to happen. I don't know. 20 just seems like a really good number. Of like, we've been doing this for like 20 different episodes. We got 20 different personalities that come on here and really like share the story, talk about their processes, share a little bit of their creative ideals, things of that nature. Like, it's really beautiful. Make sure, because I know there's some like outside music or like outside noise, so I want to ensure you guys can hear me clearly. Also, I don't know. It's like I need to do like a poll or something. Make sure this doesn't fall. I really don't want this to fall. Like, you don't know how many times. You guys don't know how many times. Like while I'm setting up, before I set up, like this thing falls so many times. But honestly, like with my dog and like kicking it over so many times and like it be banging against the wall so many times, or like all these different things. Like I'm grateful that it's still kicking. You know what I'm saying? So and usually I be playing music, but I put some music at the beginning of the live last time, and they said, "Oh, we got flagged because there's music included and that you don't own and this and the third." I'm like, gosh darn it! Like, if I'm not supposed to listen to the music in my videos, why can't I post it online? Like, I'm not making no money for. I'm not making as much money as the music artists are making off of this. So, let me use your music. Is what I should say. Or what I do say. But we got a lot of good things. I could do like. There should be like announcements things. Like during this time, there's also should be like announcements. Like I can like talk about like a lot of different stuff that people like that I've had were incorporated with. Like I know Carell, if you guys remember, very first interview, she just got a couple shoots down with New York Fashion Week and a couple other independent shoots that she just did. So check out her page. TeOna is here. We got her in the live. Get our guests into the live. Also, you guys followed Tabby Turnier of Turnier Events. She also is having an event May 22nd. If you guys want to get on there and get her information, figure out what her business, and get involved in her business. That's called the Bossy Brunch. It's going to be a great panel May 22nd in Brooklyn. That'd be great. Tickets are now live on her Instagram. Beloved Christopher Mikhail. He's dropping his spring collection with his what is it? It's not denim. I don't think it's a denim. It's like a janitor corduroy sort of thing going on. Let's see. Can we get my guest in here? Let's see if she joins back in. What other? We have. Who else did we bring on here? Alexandra's traveling some more, if you guys remember her. Oh, Gelato. G Temple just dropped a new song that just came out on all social media called LSM. Oh, no. That's a year ago. It came out all social media. Let me see if I can find the video. They did just drop a new song. Definitely check that out. I think that's all for the announcements in terms of people that I've interviewed already. iOS update thing. Hey.
Hi, Kachi.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yes, I definitely can. I want to make sure the picture is right. Your picture is loading, but I can hear you. All right, cool. All right. How's your Sunday going before we get into this?
It's good. I didn't really do anything today. I went to a coffee shop earlier and got breakfast and did a little homework, and that's been my day so far.
Okay. Are you home? Or are you on campus right now?
No, I'm home.
Okay, okay. Well, for everyone flooding in, let's get this interview started. Happy Sunday, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Kickin with Kachi, powered by the DC Voice, where every Sunday at 7 p.m. Eastern Time, 4 p.m. Pacific Time, we highlight an entrepreneur of color or just a person in a certain industry that's really taken it by storm. And for March, we're, pleased to highlight some amazing women that are really doing the excuse my French, with the damn thing in their respective industries. And to really cap off the month, I thought that we should have the pleasure of interviewing Miss TeOna of Tayst Designs.
Hi, everybody.
My favorite part of the whole thing is the bomb. I'm not gonna lie. I always love leading up to the bomb because people they don't know that it's coming, so they're like, whoa, I'm like, yeah, it's real over here. But yes, so how are you?
I'm good.
How's everything on?
I'm in my last semester, so I know you got your Howard degree, so you know like how stressful that is, like just preparing for graduation and everything. But other than that, like I'm good. Like I've been doing really good lately.
Well, congratulations on, joining the prestigious, on this side of alumni, Howard alumni, APC alumni. Definitely is. It don't get easier, but it don't get too hard, because Howard definitely prepares you in that aspect.
I'm so nervous to not be in college anymore, or to not just be in school, or just to not know what is coming next. Like that's so nerve-wracking for me.
Well, I could definitely say that really so imagine like a spring break and that being like your whole year. It's like, oh wow, I don't have to like be up for 8 a.m. anymore or go to class anymore. So definitely. I know it's nerve-wracking, but once you're in it, you're in it. And honestly, it's a blessed feeling because of the fact of where you come from and where the schooling that you have. It sort of pushes you in a different gear when you're out in the real world. So I know you could definitely handle it.
Yeah, I feel like Howard.
So in terms of like preparing you, or like the community that prepares you, let's start going right into like your story. And before we even get into like the business aspect, or talking about your brand, like what essentially drew you to being a designer or even making your own pieces? Because you're a dresser. I know you was a dresser. You're a dresser stepper. So how did essentially
Well,
becoming a designer?
so I've always been like into fashion and into clothes, like you said. Like I can dress, and I've always been just drawn to like beautiful clothes. And I kind of started deciding to design when I wanted to wear certain pieces or certain clothing items, but I couldn't really find them in the stores. So I started by customizing my own pieces and kind of like upcycling pieces. And then I would go out and people would tell me like they liked what I had on and asked me where I got it, or when I told them I made it, they would ask me if I sell pieces and stuff. So I decided like there's definitely like money in this, or like there's a market for my particular aesthetic, and that's what got me started designing.
And I feel like a lot that comes with, I've said this before, like a lot of creatives, instead of it, people's always like, oh, they think the story's like, always had this talent and I just came to you one day to legitimize it, where essentially it comes from a need, where it's like, there was something that I wasn't getting in the market. There wasn't something that I was receiving in the industry that I felt like needed to be had, that other people needed. So it's great that, you took that call and turned it into a diamond, essentially. So what was the process before getting into it? Because I know I always say this, with creatives is always like there's a passion, but then there comes the profession, right? That switch where it's like, hey, I could really like make this a business. What were the steps in which that you sort of went to launch Tayst Designs?
Well, I had time during quarantine. Like during quarantine, that's when I got the idea for the brand and stuff. And I was really worried at first because I knew like I wanted to start making clothes, and I knew I wanted to design, but I didn't know how all the pieces were gonna fall in place. Like I really didn't have a name for my brand. I didn't know what particular aesthetic I wanted to do. And so over quarantine, I just had a lot of free time and a lot of downtime because I was back home with my parents. And I really just started making the clothes and letting everything like fall in place and then come to me. And so that got me to where I had like a little full collection and an abundance of pieces that I could have a photo shoot with, or like try to make marketable. And then once I got back to DC, that's when I really like locked in with my connections as far as photographers and models, and getting people together that were able to like model for my brand and basically like capture my vision. So then it was just about planning the photo shoots and setting up the page and stuff. And it all, like, that's really how I did it. Like, I made the clothes during quarantine, and then after the clothes were made and like the creative aspect of everything was together, that's when like the administrative stuff just kind of started to fall in place for me.
So was it hard during quarantine to sort of like run around and get pieces, or even go in stores and get different fabrics and things like in going through quarantine? What sort of methods did you utilize, given that we're in a pandemic, to still sort of connect with people and, using social media? Was that like a really big factor in terms of like marketing your brand, creating your brand, just utilizing the internet, calling your well, I don't know the exact word, but the people that you get your fabric from, or your models or your photographers?
No, it wasn't really hard because I wasn't really focused on connecting with people until I got back to DC. And so once I got back to DC, it was really like just a matter of sending out text messages and calling people, and like they got back to me very quickly. And as far as like the fabrics and stuff, for my first collection, which was the Bratz Collection, it was like a completely upcycled collection. So I had like, I've always been like a pack rat, I've always been a shopaholic, so I just have an abundance of different materials, like denim, like nylon, just a lot of different materials. And so I had most of the stuff already, and then it was just a matter of getting like accents and stuff. And like I worked a lot with my mom, and we would go fabric shopping, and yeah, that's how like I navigated making the clothes during quarantine.
And I definitely want to talk about the Bratz collection specifically, because that was your inaugural collection. That was the collection that sort of said, boom, hey girls, I'm here. You know what I'm saying? So why Bratz? What is the story behind going in that direction for your very first launch and very first collection?
It was just because for my very first collection, I was very much inspired by like the certain like aesthetic that I present, as well as my best friends. And I was kind of like inspired by how we all go out together and we all have like our very individualistic aesthetics, but we look very like cute
together. Yeah.
And my high school friend group, we actually like, we thought it was funny, we used to call ourselves the Bratz, because it was like me, my friend Nina, Miranda, and Chloe, and we were
wow.
and we were ethnicities of like the Bratz dolls, so like a black girl, a Latina girl, an Asian girl, and a white girl. So in
oh wow, it's perfect.
Yeah, and they like inspired the collection, and so that's why I decided to call it the Bratz Collection. And then I just kind of thought like, what type of woman does this collection fit? And it just made me feel like it was like, because it was very like sparkly, very girly, very like Y2K-ish, and it was just like women that kind of look like Bratz dolls, and so it just kind of fit perfectly.
And I feel like it was so cool because, I mean, that's essentially like the sort of vibe you get from the Bratz, you know what I'm saying? Instead of, I think little black girls love Bratz because they can see themselves with their group of friends, group of baddies, walking down, shopping bag in hand, sunglasses on face, it's lip gloss galore.
Of course, always with the lip gloss.
So, in going back to Howard, right? Launching your first collection, you utilize a lot of Howard models, right? You also utilize a Howard photographer, cubed. So, how has this community sort of inspired you and helped you sort of push your brand forward and having all these creatives at your fingertips?
I think like I'm very grateful for Howard, because Howard has amazing creatives, like not just designers, like photographers, models, music artists, period. And it's very like inspiring to be around, especially like just being around all the young Black talent. and everybody like wants to be in connection and wants to be working together and wants to be creating. And I think like I'm really grateful for it, because the driving force behind that is that you have these people that are like-minded like you, and they really want to make art. And so they've helped me, because one, they inspire me like to just stay on my shit, like to be a good designer, because there's so much talent around here. Like it's really inspiring to be around. But also like it's inspiring because everybody wants to work. And so it's like shoot, because everybody always wants to add to their portfolio. And a lot of Howard creatives and a lot of Howard designers, like this is the industry that they want to be in. And some people like definitely like do it as a hobby, but when you meet those people, like this is what they want to do, like they just take their craft a lot more seriously, and that's inspiring to be around too.
And I feel like that's sort of like, it's sort of that that quote, that iron sharpens iron. It's sort of like whoever you keep yourself around. If I'm with next to somebody and I'm next to, let's say, a sway in the morning type of type, you know, for what I do, and I see that he's really killing his game in the interview game, and I'm like, wow, that really pushes me to sort of say, hey, if I'm going to be around this person or interact with this person, I should also kind of like be on my stuff too, or even, you know, take my craft a little more seriously and learn stuff from them. And it's interesting because usually when you see a lot of new brands, a lot of it is what is called the learning period, right? You're going through very small drops or whatever, have small collections and small launches, and you're just learning, getting your foot wet in the game. But with you, first year in the game, splash effect, you went straight into the Howard Homecoming Fashion Show, right? So really big annual fashion show for, you know, as you know, everyone, honestly, I feel like it's almost as big as DC Fashion Week, right? It's for a lot of students of color at Howard University to get that really, you know, first look for their designs, their modeling, right? Or even their set designs if you know, are the director of the fashion show. So talk about that experience and how that sort of, you know, put you in a different mindset in terms of like operating your business.
Yeah, like I definitely like, it seems like I just jumped into stuff, but I definitely like went through a learning process and like trial and error and stuff during quarantine, like and just like being frustrated with maybe like not being able to learn how to sew something that I wanted to execute, because I'm self-taught, so that was a little more difficult. But like I said, like I had that time to really just like hone in and decide what I wanted to do. And so like my quarantine period was my learning period for me, and that's why it's just like it's not publicized. Like it seems like I just popped out, but I really did work on my stuff for a long time. But I was really excited to do Howard, the homecoming show. It was something that I had seen my freshman year, and it's like crazy because I looked over to my friend and she was interested in modeling, and I was like, next year, like that's gonna be us. Like I'm gonna be a designer and you're gonna be walking in one of my pieces. And I ended up
Manifestation.
yeah. But I also did the virtual Spring Fest show last year, Emerald City, which maybe just isn't talked about as much because it wasn't in person. But yeah, Milan did an amazing job at like running that show and putting it together. So I was really excited to be a part of that as well. I just wish it could have been in person, but that was like our little COVID year. But yeah, I really enjoyed the Howard Homecoming show. It was definitely like a bucket list thing of mine that I wanted to do before I graduated from Howard. So I'm really happy that I got to do it. And then I feel like the people who like put the show on, like Stan and Lonley and Hannah, like they did a really good job with that.
So do you feel like, with now that you have, because I also want to talk about Emerald City and the 237 show as well, in designing for runway or designing for pieces to be seen on the runway, I also noticed that you made the incorporating pieces for male models as well, like originally with the Bratz Collection, very feminine, very Y2K as you say, and then go into these tapestry pieces that are a lot more earth toned, a lot more centered, you know, to the roots, and also upcycle, right? Is that another thing, sustainability, something that you also are trying to incorporate into your brand in terms of taking clothes that are basically in your closet that you may not wear anymore and turn to something that you probably would want to wear every single day?
Yeah, like I'm really big on sustainability. I'm really big on like anything can be fixed, nothing needs to be thrown away. Like if you have a hole, a stain, anything on the shirt, like maybe it just needs to be revamped. And I feel like I have a really good eye for seeing the potential in pieces versus what you're first presented. And so, yeah, sustainability is definitely very important to me. And yeah, I really like making the blanket pieces because it's like you find these blankets and they have so much potential, and then you turn them into like pants or a shirt, and just like turning nothing into something is like my favorite thing about designing. Especially like I've customized things and did like additives, and like when I make jeans, it's more of a customization type thing, just adding to the jeans. But when I'm able to like make a pair of pants from scratch, I feel just very empowered, very talented, because it's much harder to like take a flat piece of fabric and turn it into something than it is to customize a sweater that's already made. So yeah, when I started teaching myself how to make pants, how to make sweaters, that was definitely like a very proud part in like my designing process and just learning how to make clothes, because it just kind of felt like I'm really a designer now. Like I really can turn nothing into something. Like, ooh, look at what these hands.
Right. And honestly, like you said, it's beautiful to like see a blanket and be like, I can make a hoodie from this. And it's like, it's a blanket, you know what I'm saying? Or even look at like some jeans and say, 3 of these jeans can become 1. And
Yeah.
it's just beautiful to sort of like have that creative mindset. And like you said, like now having the ability to actually take what's in your mind and make it, into the physical. Because before, like you said, you're self-taught, right? Before, probably like you said, frustrated with not knowing how to do certain things, learning. And when you finally got it, it's like, whoa,
Exactly.
I just unlocked a whole new level.
Yeah, and I feel like so many self-taught designers get caught up in like, this was such a struggle for me when I first started designing, but I feel like sometimes your desires or your aspirations for a piece are beyond your skill set. So it's like you have all these ideas and and like that's why a lot of people design but they can't sew, so they go to seamstresses, because seamstresses can execute the piece the way like it should be done. But yeah, like that was something like I had to overcome as a designer, like having like so many like I feel like crazy like out there ideas and having to like reel myself in, because it's like you're not necessarily there yet. Like it's definitely something you have to practice at. Like sewing is not the hardest skill, but it's something that you do have to work at, just like anything. And so yeah, it was a rewarding feeling like when I was finally able to execute the pieces that were in my mind and see like the finished products. And sometimes I even forget, like there was a point in time where I didn't even know how to thread a sewing machine. And like my friend was actually over here today and she has a photo shoot and I was fixing this shirt for her and I just like took it in and raised the shoulders up just to make it like fit her better. And she was like, that was so fast. Like and I was like, I told you it was gonna be fast. And she wanted me to like safety pin her into it, but I was like, no, like I can just sew it real quick.
Yeah, exactly.
This is such an underrated skill. Like you take this for granted and able to do this. And I was like, I ain't even like really think about it that way. But it is a nice skill to have. Like anytime I can't fit something, it's no problem.
So now that we see you like really flexing your muscles design wise and creatively wise, what can we see you like looking forward to doing this year from Tayst Designs or even the years thereafter?
Well, I think I'm going to have another collection come out, and I have an idea for a collection that I've been working on, but I don't want to say too much about it because I just haven't.
Ooh, exclusives. Hold on, okay, I got the first letter.
So I don't want to seem like wishy-washy. Like I tell you a name, and then like in 2-3 weeks, I decide I want to change the name and stuff. But the Bratz collection was like a lot of denim. And the next collection I have is definitely gonna be a variety of more fabrics. And like I think I'm definitely gonna go in a more earth tony direction and have pieces for men and women, because men are always asking me like, do you make men's stuff? Do you make men's stuff? And I do. I just don't have that many photos of it on my page. And so that'll be something like to look for me. Just a lot more men's pieces, because I do want to be a more inclusive designer and be able to style for both genders.
And that was really what my question was leaning towards, because I love the girls. It is Women's History Month. I love the girls, but I need my pants. I need some pants as well.
I know, like I tell people I make men's pieces all the time. It's just I don't always get pictures in them, because every time I make a men's piece, I sell it like immediately. And
And then this is gone. Yeah.
Yeah, and so I haven't been able to have a photo shoot yet where I just like sit down and make a bunch of men's pieces and then photograph them and then like post them on the page. But that's what I'm gonna do for my next collection. Like, so you guys will be able to see that you are represented by Tayst.
Well, that's definitely comforting though, because like I said, I need my pants. I need new drip. So if you need models, I can tell the DC Voice to give me a Sunday off. I'm gonna come down. But
Yeah,
if you've seen these interviews though, you know, as we get to the end of the interview, we have a lightning round where we get to know you just a little bit, right? We get to pick your brain a little bit on just some real quick questions that you can or cannot answer. I would love for you to answer them, you know, because I don't
yeah.
think they're too invasive. All right. So first, right? Where are you from?
I'm from Japan. Yes, I grew up in like a small town in Japan called Fusashi, Tokyo.
So for a lot of people, one, probably don't even know that Black people live in Japan. Two, describe where you're from in 5 words.
Um, I would say collectivist, aesthetically pleasing, and damn, I don't know, pretty. I couldn't think of um
You said, what's the city name?
Fusashi, Tokyo.
Fushasi.
Yeah, it's like FUSSA dash SHI. Fusashi.
Fusashi. Oh, Fusashi.
Yeah,
Ah, got it. Do you speak Japanese?
I don't speak Japanese, not fluently. I speak like a little
Okay.
Japanese, like enough to get by.
Yeah. I learned. I picked up a little bit of Japanese when I was at Howard. That was my language course. So whenever I go over there to Fushisi, when I go to Fushisi, I'm gonna be like, hey, konnichiwa. Tay told me to come over here and check this place out because you said it was aesthetically pleasing.
Well, I feel like all of Japan is aesthetically pleasing, like not just the one district. Like Japan, just as a country, kind of looks like a video game.
All right. So I mean, I've definitely always wanted to go. So that definitely like puts a better positive light for me. Definitely finally getting my passport and going.
You should, and Japan
So
are like so friendly.
what are your self-care practices? Like how I know you're a boss lady, you're going through your business, but how do you take care of yourself?
My self-care practices, like I'll probably like sewing is one, but sometimes sewing gets a little stressful. Like if I'm on a deadline for something. So like besides making my clothes and stuff, I like to do my nails. I like to paint my nails. They're not painted right now, like because I've been falling off. And then I like to like have days where I light a candle and straighten up my house and do my skincare and basically just feel very like fresh and clean and get the environment around me feeling fresh and clean. And then I'm able kind of to get back into like maybe my schoolwork or whatever I have to get done. Like, but when my space like is nice around me, I feel better. So I feel like that's a self-care, like cleaning up the space around me, or like sometimes I'll get like kind of bored of my setup. And so I'll switch my furniture around a little bit. Like I like doing that every once in a while and like
Mm-hmm.
changing the colors and stuff. And I buy a lot of flowers. That's a way like that's not really a self,
Oh,
but it's something that's like calming and like really lets me like my house and like my space. Like I always keep a fresh bouquet of flowers in my house. I really like plants and like taking care of my plants and stuff. I think like they just brighten my house. And I want a pet, but I don't have one. And so my plants are my way to feel like I'm taking care of a
oh, that you
living.
take care of somebody.
Yeah. Yeah, I like having people over like to I just like taking care of people, like taking care of things. Like I always have family dinners and having people over and cooking for them and just kind of like making sure everybody's happy and stuff. I definitely like enjoy hosting because I really like my apartment. So I like having people come over.
No, that's dope. And honestly, like having this being able to, I feel like taking care of other things, like you said, is sort of also like a self-care thing too, because it's like you make someone else feel good. You know, make someone else smile, and it's like, oh, you know, I did that. You know.
Yeah.
So, what is your favorite Tayst Designs piece? I'll tell you mine, but I want to know what yours is first.
I can actually show you. I can like grab it real quick.
Oh, yes, let's do it. Yeah, give me a fashion show. I love when they show me things. That sounded wrong, but I feel like it sounded right. I feel like I should get like a drum roll sound and get like a think sound. Hopefully.
Okay, so I actually haven't posted these, so this is kind of like something new to
An
show.
exclusive.
Yeah, an exclusive. But these are like these patchwork jeans,
Ooh.
and so you can see like there's pockets all up and down.
Yeah, yeah. Are those functional pockets?
Hmm?
Are those functional pockets? I could put stuff in them?
No, they're not functional pockets. They're attached
Okay.
like to the pants, but the ones in the back are functional. I'm going to show you those in a minute. And then they have like this slit on the inside, and then
Ooh.
have these little like wing embellishments, and they say Aries Angel because you know I have to like.
Oh, good for your Aries.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
So, and these are all functional pockets. Like you can put stuff in them. But yeah, these are my favorite piece right now just because like I love me some Aries. Like I love being an Aries. I love me some Aries. I feel like I'm an angel. We're always right. Like we're perfect.
I mean, it is y'all season, so I hope I get to see them pants on the gram.
Yes, definitely soon.
Now, my favorite one definitely is the belt loop skirt that
I was
after
gonna
the 237. That was that Howard Homecoming. I think that was Howard Homecoming.
Yeah, like the belt loop skirt is definitely my second favorite piece. I actually made a mini version recently. And it's like I put a photo on my Instagram page, so it's like the mini belt loop skirt. But yeah, that is one of my favorite pieces ever. I think it's like so fashionable. It's so me.
It's so different. It's like just the belt loop. Like that. No, that's why I do what I do, to find out who does things like that.
Yeah, like I had all these belt loops from when I had worked with denim, and I had like cut the jeans up, so it was just like a bunch of useless like belt loops that weren't attached.
Exactly.
And I was like, what can I do with these?
Waste, make treasures. I love it. I love it. So, before we get into the last one, what are your top 5 shows to binge watch?
I'm a big fan of The Office.
Very nice. Love it.
Yes, I also really like Grey's Anatomy. And then probably
Okay.
I've been a big fan of Abbott Elementary lately. That's a really good show.
Yes! Yes!
Yeah, I love her.
Show.
And then a more dramatic show is like The Originals. Like it's kind of like high schooly, but it reminds me of high school when I used to watch all that stuff like Gossip Girl and Vampire Diaries and stuff.
Yeah.
And then I've been watching a lot of Sex in the City lately. Like that's one of my faves.
Okay.
That show is just outstanding. Like chef's kiss. Like they never miss. Oh, and Project Runway. Project Runway too. I love Project Runway.
So definitely you love. So you're telling me you love to cry and you love to laugh and you love fashion is what you're telling me. Because
Yeah.
first of all, Grey's Anatomy is a roller coaster. I haven't watched it, but I've seen a couple episodes and it's crazy. It's crazy. I don't know how y'all can sit through 17 seasons and counting of doing that, but
Honestly, that's like I'll watch shows even when they get bad just because I have like a dedication and bond with the characters.
right. It's like I owe it to your paycheck to keep watching you.
What'd you say?
I was like, I owe it to you. Not the show, but I owe it to the character to see how your story ends, to see how you finish.
Yeah, like that's how I feel.
So lastly, what are 3 lessons? Oh, continue.
No, I was saying I just hate like unfinished endings and feelings with characters.
Oh my gosh. Like if I stop a show, it would literally be like I would sit in my bed, I was like, I wonder how it ended. Like I really wonder how this show ended. Exactly.
about it.
So what are 3 lessons before we head out of here that you learned that you would love to share to another young woman designer trying to find her way into the industry and really, get her business going?
I think definitely like the first lesson I learned was like take the leap. I was really nervous like to commit to fashion because I felt like it was such like an oversaturated industry, and then I just kind of have to like have a talk with myself and be like, kind of like every industry is oversaturated. Like there's 7 billion people in the world, and once I like had the mindset of this person is doing this, so you can too, instead of this person is doing this, so like you're not needed, my outlook just kind of like really opened up and changed. Like once I stopped comparing myself to other designers and other stylists and stuff, and realized like there is a lane for me and everybody can eat, like that became a really important factor of like my journey, I guess, and just my confidence in fashion and like feeling like I deserve to be here and I am talented, and I do feel like that now. And I will also say like invest in your craft. It's definitely about buying good materials, buying a good sewing machine, making sure you have threads and seam rippers and everything you need to like be a successful designer. And then also like do your research, because a lot of people try to jump into sewing and just do it, and like that is one way like you can, like I kind of jumped in, but I actually like had a lot of mentors and people on my side beforehand that I just knew from the fashion industry to just tell me like about different things about sewing that I just didn't know before, like about the machine, about tension levels with the thread, and what kind of fabrics feed through different machines, and what kind of needles you need when you're trying to work on certain projects. So definitely like a little research goes into sewing to get like the best results possible. And just like watching YouTube videos and listening to podcasts and reading about fashion and like talking to people that are also interested in fashion. Like I always love being around designers. I love having people I can talk about fashion with, because sometimes I'm with my friends and I'm so excited about something and they just don't feel me. And that's why like my mentor actually, Jaren from Happy Days Never Frown.
Of course.
Yeah, we actually talk a lot about fashion. I always send him when I get new stuff, and like he'll call me and we'll both be like so excited. And it's a good feeling to have somebody like understand where you're coming from. Like the other day he posted on his close friends this machine that it kind of cuts your thread like electronically, like it zaps your thread, so when you have loose thread it looks seamless.
Oh,
And I was like,
nice.
yeah, I need that. Like that looks so cool. Like, and we're just talking about that for like 5 minutes, just about how cool like that thread thing is. So it's good to be around people that are interested in your craft as well, and like just to be able to like teach you, I guess. Like always be willing to like accept that help from other people and ask other people.
And I feel like we got more than 3, but to like sum up for the people that like, are gonna watch this later, we got first, take the leap. And that's always, I feel like, the biggest thing for anybody, right? A risk never taken is a reward never won, is what my mom always tells me. And then 2, you want to invest in your craft, because honestly, you can have all the passion in the world, but if you ain't got the funds, you're gonna go nowhere, right? Or if you don't got the materials, or if you ain't got the right tools, you ain't gonna make the right project. 3,
Exactly.
I feel like this kind of then spilled over into like a little bit more of your lessons of doing your research, but then also being open to being taught by people, or being open to conversations, or being open to your community teaching you as well, which also comes from research, right? Because you're out in the field, you're getting real world experience from people that say, hey, this probably, they're doing something that I want to do. I would probably be not doing exactly as them, but maybe I could take a little bit from what they're doing to add to what I'm doing as well. And I feel like that also comes back to that initial point that you had before, where it's the humility of saying, hey, I'm not too big to exclude my talents out from the rest of the world because someone else is doing it. I should be grateful enough to even have the opportunity to learn from other people. If someone else even is doing this, I'm not the first person to do this. So thank you so much, Tay, for coming on here and, talking to us about your business. And honestly, I feel like I said, this was probably the interview that we needed to cap off Women's History Month, because you know, just the energy, just the way, you know, how you go about your brand, what Tayst design represents. I just believe that was just the perfect way to just sort of cap off the month. So thank you for coming on here, really sharing your story, sharing your gems. And honestly, everyone that's been coming in and out, you definitely watch this. And as we post this on the page later, thank you guys for watching this video in the future. And make sure you guys follow the DC Voice for information on this interview, past interviews, and interviews in the future. Make sure you catch Tay at tay.TeOna. That's TAY. TeOna.
TeOna. My middle name is TeOna.
TeOna. You know, I was thinking, I was like, hopefully I get this right, but I didn't want to ask you because I didn't want to be an a-hole. TeOna.
No, it's
Tay.TeOna. So TeOna. And also Tayst Designs as well on Instagram. So make sure you guys catch her collection, catch all her clothes, hit her up for these one-of-one garment pieces because they're really fire. Tay, is there anything that you want to say before we sign off?
No, just like check me out on Instagram, and I just want to thank you for having me. Like, you're such a good interviewer. I had such a good time. Like, I was kind of nervous at first, but you made it so like easy and comfortable, and yeah, I had such a good time. So I'm so happy that we did this.
Hey man, you know, when you come on Kickin with Kachi, we just chilling, we just kick it. So I'm gonna see you guys. Bye.